Hi, everybody. Welcome to the studio on this Wednesday evening. We haven't done a live video on a Wednesday evening in a hot minute. So hopefully all the technology is working. Hopefully. I got a lot of stuff set up around me. Got my green screen going behind me. I'm going to show you what's been going on in the studio this week for week 3 of summer, and then we're going to do a project together, hence why the oven is behind me. It's real warm too. I had to move it away from the green screen a little bit because I was a little worried some things were warm, but I think it'll be okay. So let me introduce myself. My name is Allison Jensen, and I am the owner of Orange Easel School of Art. We are a children's art studio in the Kansas City Metro. We have 2 locations, one here in downtown Liberty, that's where I am, and then one out in Platte Woods. So we do all sorts of kids art, everything from painting to drawing to sculpture to mixed media. And then we do some adult art online through our Creation Nation membership. We'll talk a little bit about that today. So let's see, maybe I'm gonna double check. Let me go into YouTube. I'm on Zoom dashboard right now, but I want to go into the YouTube really quick and just make sure that the YouTube is streaming fine. It looks like it is. I'm sure it will give me warnings if it isn't. If not, we'll reshoot. It's fine. It's not that big of a deal. Whatever. All right. So it is week 3 of our summer here. Now, during the school year, our studio does classes for kids. We do weekly classes, just like kids would go to taekwondo, or they would go to soccer practice, they would go to dance class, they go to gymnastics class. Our kids come to art classes every single week in the studio from September through May. So, but then during the summer, June, July, and August, those classes take a break, and our summer session is filled with camps and story time classes, just single session stuff, not a full semester commitment, not a full summer commitment. And we get to see, of course, all of our kids during the school year. We also get to see some new faces of kids who maybe can't make it here during the school year because they have other stuff going on, or maybe they live further down south or east or west or north of us. And weekly classes, they just can't drive up here every single week for an hour-long class, but they can drive up for a 28-hour summer camp. So we get to see some new faces, and we sure have a lot of fun with them. So I'm going to talk about the camps that are going on this week, and we're going to show you a project that our kids did today in the Liberty Miniature Madness camp that you can do at home. But I have some fun things. Oh, wait, let me go over supplies since that's what's on the screen. This is what we're going to make when we get to the tutorial. We're going to make these mini books, and we're going to use Shrinky Dink paper. I've got some pencils. I've got a Sharpie marker. I've got a couple things that aren't on there for putting it all together. But the big thing is just the Shrinky Dinks, just to talk about those and how you can, what we've learned in using them and how you can use them this summer at your house. Before we get to the tutorial, though, let's talk about what's been going on in our studio. We do have both an in-person studio and a virtual studio. All of our virtual or online classes are done from Orange Easel instructors. So the entire team of 10 instructors teach on Creation Nation. We teach live right here on Zoom. We teach with our forward-facing camera, and we teach with our overhead camera, and we teach face-to-face with kids and adults on there. All of our classes are then recorded, edited, and uploaded into our membership dashboard. So there's a couple different ways that you can be involved in the virtual studio. If you have artsy kids at home, or maybe you as an adult are thinking like, always wanted to learn how to draw, or I always wanted to learn how to use chalk pastels, or I just need a way to relax at night after the kids are in bed. There are ways you can do this. One is to take the live classes, and we do have those individually listed on the site. I'm going to show you where those are. And then the other is sorry, I'm like distracted. There are kids coming in because we've got the Adkin Johnskin Open Studio Workshop going on. So squirrel. The other way that you can do it is to actually join the membership, where you get all of the classes for one low price, right? And you can do them live or on demand. And when you do on demand, there's like hundreds of them. But I wanted to show you, these are the newest classes that hit our membership this week. I taught the first one right there. So Maria had a little llama, which is Maria tenía una llamita. Spanish was my major in college. And so I every month try to read at least one book that is bilingual, and we read in both English and Spanish. And I always thank the kids for giving me an opportunity to practice Spanish because you know, if you don't use it, you lose it. And I love being able to practice that language with them. So we read books once a month. I read a book in Spanish. So this one was Monday, and then we made art. So we drew llamas and colored them in with oil pastels and watercolors. Miss Sarah read We Want a Dog, and that one is already up on the Creation Nation site. Miss Tori did, I gotta lean the wrong way. This is a drawing and painting class for fireflies, jars. And then this is Miss Bailey's adult class. Where is it? There it is, called Popping Popsicles. And it's a mixed media class that she does on Friday nights. You just never know what show is going to come up with, but it's super fun and crazy. That was last Friday's class. So those are on for our Creation Nation members. Now, if you're not a member for Creation Nation and you're like, that's great, Allison, but I can't take those classes, you can either join the Creation Nation, send me a message if you want more information on that, or you can join us live. And I have me in the wrong place, so let me just, there, I'll make me smaller so you guys can see. These are some live classes that are coming up that are listed individually on the website. So if you go to the Orange Easel website and look up the online classes, these are ones that you can take throughout the month of July. And you'll see there are, let's see, how many are there? 12, 16, I don't know. There's like 28 new July classes listed. So this one's coming up right after the 4th of July. I teach this one. This is a watercolor class. We're going to use some masking fluid and paint this kind of surf coming in and some seashells. And I'll have actual seashells for us to look at, so we can do a little bit of like observational stuff. And then Miss Liz is teaching the next day. She's going to be teaching a Sweet Treats, which is a beginning drawing class geared towards our young, like 5 to 9s, elementary age kids. Miss Grace teaches a little bit more advanced class. This is a comic style drawing that she teaches on Thursday nights. And so she's going to be working through creature evolution. And when you find the class listings, they will have like the description of more than just the title, and then also the supply list. So if you're like, what do my daughter or son need to take this class? That's all listed there. All right. So I think that's it. There's more out there, but those are just kind of the ones coming up next week. I did list all of the storytime classes. We don't have class on Monday. Creation Nation people, there are no classes on Monday the 4th. So Miss Allison's going to take the day. Otherwise, I usually teach on Mondays. All right, let's talk about what's going on in the studio. I'm going to make me big again. Ready? This is cool. Whoa. All right, so this is what's going on in the studio. In the last couple of weeks, we've done these videos and I've talked about our kind of community partnerships that we've had going on. And I mentioned that St. Therese was coming out at Flatwoods and bringing a whole bunch of kids to us to make some art. And so that did happen last Friday. And you can see some really adorable pictures of these kids who, you know, they got to do the face painting and they got to do the throwing of the paint. And we did a mixed media project using ice cream and popsicles and summer treats. So super fun getting to know them. This is the 3rd year that they've been out with us. And it's fun to have the kids come back over and over and over and be like, last time we were here, we did this. And 2 times ago, we did this. And so they actually gave me some really great ideas for next year. So I took some notes, kids, and I got it. Next year, they want spray paint. So hold me to it. We'll make it happen. All right. We've got some other highlights going on. The first is for the community partnerships. The Atkin Johnson's group is rolling right along. Next week, I should have an update on their open studios. They're here tonight working. But we do have camps going on. So out in Flatwoods, they are doing Paint-a-Palooza. So lots of acrylic paint and watercolors and different painting things. You can see they're over here. They're working on the giant canvas. I put this picture here because we haven't talked about it yet. We do a lot of creative stations in the afternoon where it's just free time and the kids can create whatever they want. That's where you see the pictures of the popsicle sticks and the hot glue. But this one is the perler beads, and we do a lot of perler bead art and a lot of like just kind of nostalgic fun stuff for them to do. So there's just, you know, open templates for them to do these perler beads and spend some time creating if they want to. If they don't, that's okay too. Liberty is doing, this is a Liberty picture. This one's Flatwoods. They're doing painted papers over here. These guys over here are doing Miniature Madness. So those are those teeny tiny little canvases. Flatwoods got to do that 2 weeks ago in their camp. And it was one of their favorites. And our kids really enjoyed that one as well. So they're over here painting as well. We've got the beading station out. Lots of really new fun rugs. Miss Allison had fun on Amazon buying rugs. So both studios have new rugs. I can't buy rugs for my house, you guys, because I have big dogs and they just ruin everything. So I buy them for here. And then I can appreciate them and nothing gets ruined. So these are our group pictures. I posted to Facebook today. I don't know if I posted to Instagram, but we take these group pictures and then I go to Walmart and get a copy for every single kiddo. I should have brought the sketchbook. I'll have to do that next week. But they take their sketchbooks, because every kiddo has a sketchbook that they get for the week. And we put those pictures in their sketchbook. And then on the last day, we sign them like a yearbook page. So super cute. We also I have to show you our photo printers too. I always think of things after I'm already sitting here, but we have photo sticker printers that the kids love. So, you want to make some art together? I feel like that was a whirlwind. Yeah. Maybe that's just all of June. All right, I'm going to switch my camera views because I want you to be able to see what's going on. Whoa, over here. Start our video. I'm going to disappear. Ready? Boom. And then we'll stop our share. Oh, and you're upside down. Are you? No, you're not. It just looked like it. Okay. So if everything goes well, you should be seeing my table here of all my different supplies, my Shrinky Dinks. We're going to make these little mini books. But before we get to that, I want to talk to you just kind of about Shrinky Dinks in general. So I'm a child of the 80s. So I remember making Shrinky Dinks. Let me get the light up, turned up just a little bit. I always, when we do when it's on my face, it's too bright, but then it gets dark when it's just down here. So these are Shrinky Dinks. I remember making them when I was little, and we do them in the studio sometimes as a jewelry finding and sometimes as a keychain, especially like back to school. This is a pretty common back to school project for us here in the studio, is to make backpack tags, and we do them as keychains. And I've never used an off-brand of Shrinky Dinks, you guys, so I don't have a good review for Shrinky Dinks as an off-brand. But what I would suggest is, if you're going to buy an off-brand, read some reviews, okay? But what I can recommend is the actual Shrinky Dink brand, and what we always buy is Rough and Ready. And you can buy it, and there's different kinds of Shrinky Dinks, so you want to pay attention to this. There is Shrinky Dinks that are like super, super smooth and slick on both sides. And I don't know what they're called, crystal clear or something like that. The ones that we have are Rough and Ready. And that means that one side is kind of like an etched. And then one side is this, see how shiny it is? That's smooth and shiny, right? So this side right here is not smooth and shiny, it's etched out, and this side is real smooth, okay? They make Shrinky Dink film that's all smooth like this. I don't think they make Shrinky Dink film that has two etched sides, okay? If you use the one that's real, real smooth on both sides, then you can't use colored pencils on it. You have to use, and you can't use like washable markers. You have to use like permanent markers, Sharpie markers on it. At least that's my experience. Whereas like the Rough and Ready stuff, you can use the colored pencils, which is really my favorite thing. So we're actually going to be coloring on the back, and that's, oh, and they make Shrinky Dink film that already has like designs written on it, like drawn on it. But we always just buy the blank pages. So what we're going to be making today is a book. So I've got all my different book pages. This is our little planning sheet, and I'll explain to you. Oh, look, I already had one out and I forgot. I'll explain to you how we did it in the studio. And then if you want this template, you can totally have it. So one sheet, this is our template that we made. One sheet goes here, and then we can use our little paper cutter and cut it into the different book pages. Okay. And the reason we use this is because for our kiddos, we'd rather have them plan out all of their pages in their book, make all their mistakes on paper, and then they lay their rough and ready Shrinky Dinks right on top, and then they trace it, right? Because it's see-through. So I can trace my design. I can even tape it down here and then trace it. And that saves us from like, I messed up and then we waste a piece of Shrinky Dink. So this is good. It also helps with scale, right? So when we talk about scale, it's how big or how small something is relative to everything else. So we want their scale to be pretty big. We want it to fill the book page, right? But we also want to avoid wherever you're going to hole punch, which for mine, I hole punched at the top, okay? So when we put out our planning sheet, you can see I kind of just doodled on this a little bit, and I thought about different things. At first, I was going to make a book about art supplies, and then I was like, ooh, I'm going to make one about famous artists. So then I switched gears. So when our kids did it, they drew everything out in pencil or in Sharpie. And then when they were happy with it, then they laid their pages down and they traced. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and trace one because I already made all my other pages. So I'm going to trace one for you, and then we'll finish these pages. And then we're going to use the oven that's back here, and we're going to bake them. Okay. So here's how this works. I'm going to do a little bit of tracing. These are my famous artists. I used a piece of Shrinky Dink that was already like smudged, so it has stuff on it. But I figured if anybody was going to use a smudged piece of Shrinky Dink, it was going to be me. And this is a fine point Sharpie, but you could use a fatter Sharpie, right? I could tape this piece of Shrinky Dink down if I wanted to, but I'm just going to go ahead and hold it with my fingers. So this is Rothko, which doesn't really make much sense just as a square, but when I color him, it will, because we're going to color him with some color fields. You guys, are you well versed in your art history? My daughter is a freshman, and she is taking an art history course this summer, a freshman in high school. She's real excited about it. So am I. I was like, ooh, tell me more. All right, so I haven't colored any of my pages here. You can see I've got them all kind of ready to go, right? These are my artists. I could totally make some more. I did make sure that when I traced on the rough side, not on the smooth side. And I'm gonna color, let's see, we'll do Warhol. And it is really easy to color on this stuff. Look, it's just, I don't know. It's got a good tooth to it. It's got some good texture. I'm going to color my Warhol one in different patterns. And I won't take very long, I promise. I'll go fast. When I did my, what did I do last time? I did the watercolor one. That one was not very fast, but I came prepared today, you guys. Matter of fact, if I thought about having most of these baked, but it only takes like a minute to bake them, right? Let's do Pollock in the orange. Pollock is our paint splatter. You want me to explain the art histories when I color them? So this is Jackson Pollock, American abstract expressionist. And he was known for his action painting, right? He would use a stick and a can of latex paint. He'd throw his raw canvas down on the floor, big. And then he would walk around with his stick of paint and just drizzle and drip and splatter and cover the whole thing. That's Jackson Pollock. So that's why he has a splatter. Yeah. Okay. And then Warhol, Andy Warhol over here. He's our printer. Did some silk screening, and a lot of his art used repetition. Right. So the design was repeated over and over and over, either in the same artwork or it was repeated and then hung together. The most famous one that you would probably know would be the Campbell's soup, right? He was a pop artist, so he used
for a subject matter, he used like everyday objects, common everyday objects, and tried to elevate them into high art. Said he wanted to be like a machine. He could print over and over, right? All right, and this is Moreau. Moreau is, I love Moreau. He used all these like shapes and symbols. Lots of, I didn't really get the right palette for him. He was like a red and a light blue. Lots of white space, lots of negative space, which I think is probably why I really like him. I kind of dig some negative space. And he kind of has these like symbols all over the place that just kind of float. Like it's very airy. He has a little bit of like surrealism in his art. I think I think Spanish. Romero. Sure. So it looks like a bird now. That wasn't my plan, but that's what it looks like. Okay. Dali, most famous art of Dali was our La Persistencia de la Memoria, right? The persistence of memory. So that's our melted clocks. It's probably the most famous artwork by Salvador Dali, also a surrealist. I should mention too, when you're doing your designs on your Shrinky Dinks, you could trace, you can trace your own art, right, on the template, but you can also trace, things that you print off of the computer. Like you could print clip art and trace it if you really wanted to. Okay, so again, I didn't pick the right colors here, but this is Mondrian. And Mondrian was our primary red, primary yellow, and primary blue, along with black and white. That was his art. And it was all these straight lines. So everything was either a vertical line or horizontal line. It was all black lines. Everything was a square or rectangle, 90-degree angles. I did bring white because, otherwise it's, right? It's clear. Of course, my white is like teeny, teeny, tiny. That's okay though. I can do it. Like we tell the kids, you can do hard things. It's okay. When we're coloring with our colored pencils, try to get it, like as smoothly as possible, not really scribbly. Although even the scribbles, like they'll take and like tighten together and like shrink up. I didn't bring a true yellow, so I'm going to use this citron or chartreuse. And Mondrian, I'll just have to live with it. Miss Akira had all the colored pencils out for her workshop tonight, so I just grabbed a selection of them. Okay, my last one is Rothko. He's one of my favorites. It's actually probably my favorite picture to go look at the Nelson when we're there is the Rothko one. And he is a color field painting. So got these beautiful squares of color, basically. Sometimes there's kind of a soft transition. So I'm gonna pretend this is a Rothko. I feel like my overhead camera keeps freezing. I'm gonna move this out of the way. I don't know if it is or if it's just me. It says excellent connection, so I'm just gonna roll with it. It's gonna cover up his face. Sorry. If I wanted to, I could get out like a gel pen, which I don't have here behind me, I don't think. I might, but it's behind the green screen and we probably shouldn't risk it. I could get out what I was going to say was I could get out a gel pen and I could put his face back in, like with a white gel pen so that you could see it. Otherwise, it kind of got hidden by all my colors. But that's okay. What do I want? I want an indigo. So yeah, if you haven't seen Mark Rothko's color fields at the Nelson Atkins and you're local to Kansas City, you should go see them because they're pretty awesome. I assume that it's still up. I don't know. I don't go often enough. I took the team last August. We went like for our summer end celebration and the whole team went. We went out to the Nelson and we did their mini golf course. It was super fun. And then we went out to dinner together. And I said, oh, I love coming to the Nelson. I should come more often. And now it's been a year and I still haven't been back. Okay, so there's all my famous artist pages. Now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get these into the oven. So here's, I don't know, I feel like this is what freaks people out. So couple tips on Shrinky Dinks. One, just let it go. Like maybe practice first of all, and then two, just kind of let it go. It's not gonna be perfect. They're gonna be bent up just a little bit, but we're gonna let go of perfection here. So I've got them here on the tray. I'm gonna do 2 at a time because if you try to cram too many on here, you're setting yourself up for failure. Let me move these out of the way. So we're gonna put them in there and they're gonna do funky things in the oven. And if I could show it to you, I would, but I haven't figured out how to do that. So they're gonna like bend and curl and flip and do crazy things. And I just want you to breathe. The moment they lay flat, then they're done. Yeah. Okay. Until then, let them be. Now, when they come out, they might still be just a little bit curled. And so I'm going to use, you can use like a chopsticks. You can use like 2 ends of a pencil, whatever you want to grab. I've got like some pliers. Obviously don't use your fingers. Yeah. Okay. Let's do it. Put this in my oven back here. And then like, don't walk away. So you just sit here and you watch for it. Again, you know, dead air here while you guys watch, but it is not doing it. Well, hang on. You know what? I can totally do this. Just a sec. But then I got to get you back really fast because what I need is an assistant. This is our little toaster oven. Oh, there they go. Look at it curl. This is when everybody freaks out. Don't freak out. They're like, oh my gosh, they'll never flatten. I mean, that one's rolled up like a burrito. The moment it starts to flatten, you guys, I'm gonna have to put you back in the tripod. Otherwise, okay, here, see it's unrolling. Okay, sorry, you're gonna miss this magic. Otherwise, I won't be ready. All right, 5 more seconds. 3, no, 3, 2. Here they come. All right, I'm gonna pull them out. Look how little they are. Okay, and I'm gonna use my little fingers or make sure they're down. And they're perfect. I love them. Okay. Can you see them? Yes. All right, now my tray is super duper hot. And one thing I should have told you is to put it on aluminum foil because then you can just like pick up the aluminum foil. You know, and take them off as opposed to trying to like get your fingers under them. You can just grab from the edge of the aluminum foil, but those are good. Look at those 2 little book pages. Look how much smaller they are. Can you see that? All right, we're going to do another 2. So Warhol and Dali. Okay, in they go. While that's cooking, we're going to talk about these guys. Oh my goodness, they're hot. Okay.
So I think that our book pages actually look better in reverse. But if you wanted your book to go this direction, we would have had to write like all the writing in a mirror image, and that just wasn't going to happen. So my book's going to get put together this way. Okay. And you can see we've got our little hole punches right at the top, and that's where I'm gonna bind mine. Probably one of the biggest mistakes we make is we forget to hole punch things. So it's better if you hole punch like before you even give it to the kids, because otherwise the chance of you forgetting, pretty good. All right, these are done. Okay, again, I want to double check that they're nice and flat. They are. Love it. Love it. Look at those. They're so cute. I love Shrinky Dinks. The other thing we could have done, you guys, is, whoops, see how that one like curled when I picked it up? We don't want it to curl. You have like 10 seconds after it comes out of the oven that you could shape this. And like the Shrinky Dink people, it says that on there. Like if you wanted to, you could shape it around like a bracelet or something, but I don't want to shape it. I want it to lay flat. So in other words, don't pull it up and misshape it, right? Keep it flat. Okay. Couple more. I might leave off my cover page and we'll just do the pages, since that's like an odd number. That way we can move things along. All right, this is the oven is on my left, you guys, and my left hand, if you could only see how bad that's going. Okay. Here's our 4 book pages so far. I don't know why Rothko's, it probably was the wrong size to begin with. Again, these were like scrap pages that Miss Akira had laying around from class today. But I was gonna say, one thing you could do is you could round your edges. So before they go in the oven, to give it a little bit of a rounded edge so that they're not real pokey. That's pretty common. If you don't, like if you have a design like this and you're planning on punching a hole, you can see like we didn't punch a hole in the design. We punched a hole outside of the design and then cut around the hole. So another idea. These guys are just about done. And then I'll show you how to put it all together. How's that? And then we'll be done for the day. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and out it comes. All right. We'll let this one cool for just a second while Miss Allison turns the oven off. There we go. Mondrian's the reason that I ended up punching things at the top, was because, I mean, like, it would have cut off as M. Let's see if this guy's ready to come up yet. Whoop, nope. It's hot, man. This is definitely a teacher or older elementary kid job. Although I love the toaster oven for this for a couple reasons. One, it's summer and I don't really want to, like, you know, you may not want to turn on the oven at your whole house. But the other reason is, like, it forces you to only bake a few at a time. You bake a whole bunch at a time and they all come out on this cookie sheet and they're all doing wonky things. And all of a sudden now you feel like you have 10 seconds to fix them all. You don't have to worry about that with these guys because I only made 2 at a time. And you can see it didn't take long. As tempting as it would be to put more in on a giant cookie sheet, I probably wouldn't recommend it. All right, so this is some wire. You could use anything. You could use string. You don't have to use wire. You could use, you could even like straighten out what am I thinking? Paper clip. You could even straighten out a paper clip and use that kind of wire. You could use floral wire. I'm going to go ahead and put mine together. No particular order, except for I'm going to put Mondrian at the front. Oh, they're so slippery.
Slide our little wire in. Now this is going to just be a temporary one, I think, so he doesn't move around. And then I'll do this one over here. This wire here, we buy this stuff from the Amazon, and it is cheap and super fun. You can also get floral wire from, and I think you can even get like colored anodized aluminum wire at Dollar Tree sometimes. Always good stuff. Forget, my son said something today about going next. He's like, next time you're at the dollar store, can you look for this? And I said, honey, I'm at the dollar store all the time, and I can tell you right now, they don't have that. He wanted a piece of bamboo. That's what he wanted to practice throwing his javelin. Or practice javelin throwing, I should say. Okay. And we're just going to be creative on how we twist these up. Cut off the extra. This wire is great because you can cut it with scissors if you want to. When we're cutting little bits like this with kids, we usually give them safety goggles, because sometimes those bits, especially if you're cutting them with scissors, they'll just go flying. Yeah. So I'm just gonna push that up. Again, you could just use string and tie it if you wanted to. We're essentially making like little binder rings, right? If you wanted to be crazy about it, you could get you could do more than one hole punch and like do a spiral bound. But look at him, he's so cute. Can you see it? These are our little mini books. Usually our books, like, they just sit on the front desk, and the kids like to flip through them. I think Plattwoods, you guys have I think they have like a cat book that sits up there. So I know my camera's having a hard time focusing on it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and let's go back to our PowerPoint here. It's going to take me a second to get back to where I wanted to be, and then I'll come back on the screen. Let's make some art. There we go. Here I am. Yay. Ooh, I'm really whited out. Let's go ahead and turn off that light a little bit. It's always a little bit crazy when you come back on. So I hope that you guys enjoyed that, and that you get to get some Shrinky Dinks out and make some little mini books this summer, or like little charms, just anything little. Isn't little fun to make? Miniatures are fun to make. So if you want to make backpack charms, I believe we have a blog post or maybe a YouTube video on the backpack charms as well. But I thought the books were super fun. And for some of our early elementary age kids, it's also an exercise in writing, right? What's your book going to be about? Is it a storybook? Is it a nonfiction book? Is it so they can create a little book and get it bound up? Okay. Now I also should mention, like, it doesn't have to be this small. So if like our page was divided into eighths, if you divided it into fourths, obviously it would be not this small. Okay. If anybody wants this template, give me a holler. And I mean, it's just a PDF, so I can shoot it your direction. Sound good? All right, I got a couple things to go over with you, and then I will let everybody go. All right, first thing is just kind of what's coming up. So this is our week 3 of camps, and we are taking next week off. So every summer we do 3 weeks on, 1 week off, 3 weeks on, 1 week off, and then 2 weeks on, and then school starts. So this is the end of our June. This is the end of week 3. And so we will take next week, which happens to be the 4th of July week. It always is, as a prep week. No one wants to come to camp 4th of July week. It's dead week in all of the high schools. So everybody goes on vacation. So there's nothing going on in the studios. All the staff will be here. Some of them are actually taking vacations, but they'll be here, and we'll be going through supplies and boxes and dividing things up and making project examples and all the things. So if you need us next week, we'll be here, but we'll be here very sporadically. I'm still checking emails every day. The only day I won't be is Monday. And I probably will, realistically, but like, still checking emails, still checking voicemails, all the things, but like, don't think you're just going to catch us here. If you need us, that's fine. Just tell us you're coming. Okay.
maybe make connection with us first before, don't just drop by at either studio. Okay. They also July 6th, we are posting all of the fall stuff. So the schedule is finalized. We have it all figured out. Miss Sarah and I got it. Like we worked on that. And so we are ready to share it with you guys. The biggest thing right now is just getting it pretty and on the website. So if you are signed up for email notifications, you'll get that in your inbox on the 6th. Otherwise, you will get it, just go to the website. So if you want to sign up for that, you can find that on the webpage, just under the 2022-2023 classes. And about halfway down the page, it says like, sign up for email updates. So we'll send it to you. Okay. But that'll be all of the multimedia classes. I know some of you have been asking like, when's the homeschool class going to be? And when's the preschool class is going to be? And what night is K1? And I've got it. So, so we will get that up to you right after the 4th of July. So look for that. Also, people have asked about private lessons. That will also be published. No registration, but it will be published. Okay, so that's the next point. Next bullet point is says August 1st fall registration. So just because everything's up doesn't mean we're registering. It just means that you can look at it. And then the classes start for Monday night classes. It's August 29th. For everybody else, it's September 6th. And the reason we do that is because nobody wants to have class on September 5th because it's Labor Day. And we want to make sure we get everybody 4 classes before October. All right, couple points here and ways to stay connected here with us. One is to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll probably continue to do live YouTubes. Through the summer, they're going to be kind of sporadic on when they are, because it's just based on my schedule and what we have going on in the studio. But I'll try to get it like midweek, because I feel like that's nice to be able to talk a little bit about what's been going on and then what is going on. Whereas like during the school year, it's always Mondays. And so anyways, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you like these videos. You can also go to our website, and right on the homepage, almost all the way to the bottom, there's a spot for you to tell us what kind of emails you want to get. So if you want to be told when there's online classes, if you want to be told, like, I don't know, when a video like this is posted, if you want to know like when fall classes start, like all of that stuff, you can subscribe to certain lists in order to get that information. And I don't send a lot of emails. So if you're like, am I on a list? I don't feel like I get a lot of emails. I can check for you, but I don't send very many because I don't. So maybe next year. And then you can let me know what kind of projects you want to see in these videos. I've been pulling camp projects just because that's the supplies I have and that's what's top of mind. But if there was something that you saw from the school year, or something that you've seen, I don't know, you have it saved on your Instagram account, I'd be happy to walk through it and talk about kind of how it works for home and what we've learned and what supplies we recommend and all that stuff. Okay. We do love being a resource for you guys. And other than that, that's all I got. So I haven't scheduled next week's video, but it'll probably be on Wednesday because I teach Wednesday night. I teach that watercolor class Wednesday night. So I'll probably do the YouTube just before that. So have a wonderful rest of your week and a great 4th of July, everybody. And I will see you soon. I'm going to figure out how to end this because last time I didn't do that well. There it is. Bye, guys.